everyone. This is Kiddada Asmara Grey, your conflict coach and founder of Grown Girl Spaces. I am doing something so exciting for 2025. I'm hosting a vision board party this Thursday night from 7 to 10 p.m. This is not we cut out the collages and put them on a piece of paper, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, I want to actually teach you how to align your life with the actual goals that you want to actually get them executed in 2025. I'm going to do that through hypnosis. I'm going to give you some tips on how to manage your anxiety. We're going to talk about the 13 main things that you want to do this year. We're also going to talk about how do we align our thoughts with our words and our actions, and we're going to thread in things like how do I have my own accountability with a partner, but also with my integrity. See, we never talk about integrity, our personal integrity, when we do this. I want you to click the link, that bit.ly link over there that says Manifest 2025, and join me this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Look to see you there. And oh, this is virtual. See you soon. Oh my, y'all, good morning. It is so dark over here in this world by me. Okay, we got to get it together. Hey, good morning, everyone. I am Kiddada Asmara Grey, your conflict coach with Life Coaching Today Presents. And I just realized, I'm a little dark, I'm a little shaded, but hopefully I still look cute though. I don't know what's up with the lighting this morning. Happy New Year. I have not seen you all. Hold on, y'all. I gotta go over this way and bring a little bit of light over here. I have not seen you all since the end of December. Since the first week in January, listen, we're all sleeping. We're all in denial about the fact that we've got to go back to work. And so did not do a podcast just for that reason. All right, awesome. I am on the Facebook. And we'll talk about that too. I totally forgot about the Facebook stuff. But welcome back and Happy New Year. I hope the holidays were fantastic for you all. Mine was awesome. I had my babies with me and we had a good time. So baby girl actually flew in from Kansas to be home with her mommy. If you recall, I think a couple years ago, or I think it was last year, she came home with her cats. Don't ask me why. So she flew with two cats, y'all, two cats to Georgia. I did not see my grandkitties, as I call them, this Christmas, but they were in good hands and the best time of. I hope that you all have been keeping yourselves warm because we have had a serious winter storm all across the country. We've got winter, we've got fires in California. I don't know how I missed that. I woke up yesterday morning, clicked on the news because I've been taking a news break, and lo and behold, it was on fire. I don't know if it's Northern Cal, somewhere by LA, somewhere, I don't know. Child, I've only been to Southern California, but I hope everyone is staying safe, warm if you are dealing with the winter snowstorms, staying safe if you are evacuating for safety purposes way out in California. And you know what's interesting is that we have so much news. We get so much news that somewhere in the news cycle, it was missed that in Richmond, California, sorry, y'all, in Richmond, Virginia, that there was actually such a bad storm that people don't have water in Richmond. So I found out about this yesterday. So if you live in that area and you can go drop off water to people, it's a challenging time right now all across the country. In my mind, I'm thinking Mother Earth is angry about the shenanigans going on. on this continent, because woo, and maybe she's sad too, because we have lost some political greats on December 29th, right before the new year clicked into 2025. We had President Jimmy Carter, my mommy's favorite president. He passed away, and I don't remember, he was 100 and something. Don't ask me what, but he lived a good life. And if you don't know anything about Jimmy Carter, okay, so I just got distracted. So if you don't know anything about Jimmy Carter, y'all, he was our 39th president. To note, so you all can do the math, when he entered into office in 1977, I was two years old, and he entered in when the United States was going through an oil and gas crisis. And my mom would tell me stories about them having to line up to get gas. But you know, he was a great humanitarian. I mean, he loved people, and wanted the best for people. And for some odd reason, wanting the best for people, whether it was through peace building and conflict resolution and great diplomacy, people did not like him as a president. It's really interesting how we feel that presidents have to be hard hitting. That's only one of the skills, and I don't think people understand that your conversation per se, in terms of diplomacy, can just be as hard hitting, just as like your emotion of anger, and putting that forward when you are being diplomatic and trying to solve problems. And so that is something that I wish, as a conflict resolution expert, someone who practices conflict, I wish people would understand that, because it's not muscles most of the time that prevents wars or things like that. It really is the fact that diplomacy and humanitarian work can actually make things better in this life. I think I said he wrote 32 books. He wrote children's books. He wrote books on politics. He did everything. He was just a great intellect. They never say that about him, but I promise you, you can't write children's books, political books, poetry books, and not be a great intellect. And so I want to clarify something, though. A lot of people think that he was the founder of Habitat for Humanity. He was not. Yeah, he just was. Him and his wife, Rosalind, may she rest in peace as well, actually became great volunteers and great supporters of Habitat for Humanity. So they did not found Habitat. They actually had an organization called Carter's Works, down in Plains, Georgia, and that rolled out across the nation. So our president, Jimmy Carter, he is leaving Washington, D.C. He's in the rotunda up there. He is flying back to Georgia. There will be a final and private ceremony with his family down in Plains today. And so we have lost a great man, a great humanitarian. I in Georgia did not get to stand outside or go to the Carter Center. It's way too cold for me. However, I was walking the doggie, Zora, and there were two helicopters hovering. And now I don't live too far from the military base, and miles, not like inches away. And I realized that they were actually following the president as his body and the families and the dignitaries were heading up to the Air Force Base to leave. And so that was kind of cool to watch from a different perspective, because the helicopters hovered. One helicopter was actually red, white, and blue. And so I stood for a minute and shared in that moment, which was humbling, and just recognizing that he actually did awesome work. And if you ever come to Atlanta, please go to the Carter Center. And in my world of conflict, he really was preeminent. That preeminent in respect to the world of conflict and peace. And so I love that. So I hope you all will come and visit. And if you are in Atlanta and you've never been to the Carter Center, let's field trip, because I think everyone goes to MLK. But there's more to this life. And so, good morning. John, are you in? Hit me up. Let me know if you are in. Good morning, MJ. And so he said he just learned that the name of his first name was James Earl Carter. Really? I didn't know that. And Pastor Jean Ward said, yes, they said he was too nice. And that in and of itself, I'm just going to say it, and Jean, you're going to be mad at me. But this machismo, I'm just going to drop that word and leave there, because that is not necessarily what it takes to be a skilled leader. Yeah, and then we had Justin Trudeau resigned. You know what? I can't even talk about that. My feelings are hurt right now about that. Yeah, hurt. But my Canadian friends, some of them said they are frustrated about that. They're frustrated with him. They actually wanted him to resign. So I'll report back after I talk to one of my sister girls in Canada today to get all the tea about that, because that's wild work to me. That's wild. I don't know. Some of our prominent leaders, it's amazing what's going on politically right now. People are really frustrated. And some things are out of their control, meaning they, the presidents, they, the leaders, control. And last time I was on with you all, I was talking about the presidential responsibilities here in the United States. I started with the first part. I will go back to that next week, simply because, we've had so much political presidents, shenanigans and deaths and resignations occurring in the last couple of weeks that I wanted to kind of talk through that. Now, okay, can I lean in for a second and just say, So I shared with you all that, yay, good morning, Hashim. Happy New Year, love. Every person that I talk to is fed up with Trudeau. And so forgive me, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'm a little biased because I think he's handsome. So fault me. I'm a human sister girl, and I like pretty things. There you have it. So where does one begin with the major shenanigan? So we have an incoming president. You all know who I'm talking about here in the United States. And sometimes I just wonder, and it makes me wonder why it is that I stay off of I made a conscious decision to mind my business when it comes to watching the news since the election, because my mind needed a break, and I hope you all took a break from the news. But it came to my understanding about the incoming president of the United States of America is saying that he wanted to rename the Gulf of Mexico. And one of the Congress women, one of the few who chooses to use her intellect, I heard myself say that, her little bit of intellect, what she has left, for foolishness and creating nonsense bills. And so one of the bills that MTG Marjorie Taylor Greene has dropped was the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico. So when I heard this, I was just like, you know what? We actually have homeless people in this country. We obviously have inflation. We have, not that the president can do anything about inflation, but I'm saying we have real life social issues in the United States where people can't afford housing, all kinds of things, right? And this is the battle that they want to take on right now. I just want to point that out to anyone listening, if you're great supporters of them, because the Gulf of Mexico, this body of water that sits down there by Alabama and Florida, Mississippi, and, you know, for us anyway, in the United States, I just don't understand why that is something that they want to focus on, because it's minding its own business. I just want to tell you that the waterways have not done anything to anybody except oil rigs, cruise ships, and visitors who like to play in the water. And lest I forget, the turtles, the baby turtles that come out of the Gulf and lay their eggs. And so the baby turtles go back in. So everyone's minding their business down there. But now, right now, he wants to be the greatest dictator on earth. And I think that means also he's just going to do a land grab, a water grab. Oh, before I forget. And he's claiming that Canada is going to be our 51st state. I just want to say, if that were to ever become true, just if it makes it the 51st state, I can only tell you the level of representation that would come out of it, the number of electoral votes might throw off our whole political system. I just want to let you know that, y'all. But I wanted to tell you all about why the president of the United States cannot change the name of the Gulf of Mexico. And I think he wants to call it the Gulf of America because I guess we have a lot of, I don't know. Let me tell you something. Let me just tell you something. There's an organization called the IHO. It's the International Hydrographic Organization. It is an intergovernmental, meaning that many different governmental agencies work with it, that governs the seas, the oceans, and navigating the waters. And they charter them, they survey them. So literally all water across the world falls under this organization, and they map it out, right? Like with a grid, they come up with treaties and so forth, and an understanding about not only the names, but how we access it, how countries access it. That's why sometimes you'll see, you know, oh my goodness, if China's navies go into Japanese waters, you know, so that's the kind of stuff that they do. So with that being said, our incoming president, oh yeah, I'm still struggling with that. Let me take a sip because, I'm struggling. Drinking my tea this morning. So the incoming president and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, they can write as many bills as they want. They cannot just up and change with the whim of their lives that they want to call it the Gulf of America, because they have to go through the IHO and there has to be approval from other countries. So I just felt the need to say this too. American imperialism, I don't know if we're seeing that on the rise again, because we did have a time for that. But I just want to say, with all of the immigrant hate, with all of the migrant hate, especially with our Mexican brothers and sisters, that many Americans go and visit into Mexico, because Cancun and Punta Cana is in DR, but in Mexico and Cancun, the travel industry is huge. So I just want to say it can't be done without great negotiation, great rationale, and answering the question as to why. What is the purpose of it. It doesn't matter how much work is done in the waterways. These are agreements that occurred from many moons ago, people. So he just can't do whatever he wants just because he's breathing. I know he feels that way. And interestingly enough, I was trying to figure out, how did the Gulf of Mexico get its name? So just so you know, because we had those European explorers, looking for stuff. And actually, I found out that Columbus was supposed to make it to the Gulf of Mexico, and we know where he landed. Where he landed well before. He never made it to the Gulf, y'all. But actually, the Gulf of Mexico actually received its name from a Mexican city named Mexico, which is located. The city is on the shores of this area. So I had to know. I was like, well, who named it? How did it get named? All of those fun things. So it has been that way. The name has been for a couple centuries. It's not going to get done, but he's frustrating, y'all. He really is frustrating. And we just look ridiculous as a country. So that's the political world. There's your political moment about what's occurring in this world politically. And then before we go to a break, because you robot, I want us to go to a break in a second. Let me just say, I woke up, I need to tell you all a little story. So I woke up really hungry this morning on the rare occasion. Thursday mornings are the only morning that I get up really early because of the show. I need to get my mind right, do all the things. The only other time I get up early in the morning is when I need to catch a plane, to catch a flight, to go somewhere. So when travel calls, I'm up early. But this morning I was really, really hungry. Like, it was probably the fact that I was dehydrated because I've got my heat turned on way up high today. And so I am like in my mind, how you have a taste for something? That's me this morning. I'm getting dressed. I know what my plan is. I'm going to make my tea. The doggy's going to get her treat because she gets a breakfast treat in the morning. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to go grab a banana. I'm going to grab a banana because I like bananas. Y'all, I don't know what happened in my world this morning. I don't know what happened between last night and this morning, but somehow I had 2 bananas left in my head. I could have swore I saw them yesterday. Those bad boys disappeared. I'm still I'm confused. I don't know where they are, so I'm in my feelings. So before everyone cleans off the shelves in Atlanta because we're supposed to have an alleged snowstorm, please don't eat all the bananas because I need to come find them. Let's see. Hashim says he's not concerned about that, probably the Gulf of Mexico stuff, as much as I'm concerned with seeing what happens with inflation and deregulation. And I could see the deregulation, and I'm just going to say something about inflation. And I don't have time to give a whole economics class, but I will tell you that since we live in a capitalist country, a lot of our inflation is contrived and purposely intended and made, especially when it comes to grocery prices. And I just want to tell you all, if you go search for the, what is the word I want to say? What's the word I want to use? Like the economics, someone help me out there in the cyber world. Like the financials of some of your grocery stores that you shop at from during the time of the pandemic till now, they've made a lot of money. How and why? It's because they decided that they wanted to increase the amount of, they wanted to increase pricing. And of course, there was time that there was a shortage. But when we got back to regular numbers of produce and canned good and so forth, there was a decision made not to return the prices back to normal. Why not? because if we're making money, we're not trying to give up those profits. So some of this inflation is intentional, but that's what we don't want to say that in America, because like I said, we're a capitalist society, and usually it's the little people that lose. So with that being said, excuse me, y'all, for the cough. I'm excited about this show because this year, 2025, we are all going to retire making resolutions. Resolutions don't seem to work for a lot of people. People give up resolutions quickly, maybe 2 weeks, 30 days is short-lived. It's just too much pressure, right? And we don't even think about the fact that we do it because that's what we're told we're supposed to do. And when someone tells you to do something, it never lasts. You have to have an internal want and need to do that. So this year, 2025, to kick off the season, we're doing something differently. I have some awesome guests today, and they're going to give you all the skills, y'all, skills to move forward with your goals. You don't need a resolution per se. You just need to have a want and need. And so that's the less than 4 months. Oh, okay. So average New Year's resolutions last less than 4 months. And only about 6% out of 1,000, get that, 6% out of 1,000 adults who set a New Year's resolution stick to it beyond the end of the year. And so that is interesting. So we're going to have some spiritual gifts spoken to us, and tips from our favorite pastor and friend to the show, Pastor John Ward. We have not seen him for a minute. He's been traveling on these cruise ships. We are going to do something different because you know what? When people do their resolutions, I don't know of anybody who ever has a resolution that has something to do with their children and their parenting style. So this time around, we are having an awesome parenting coach and friend to the show, Taisha Bryant, back on the show. You've seen her on the podcast before, just like Pastor John Ward. And last, a new friend to the show, and you will see more of her in the month of February. We have Sharice Spand, who's going to talk about some really good financial tips. So we have parenting, coaching tips. We have spiritual, faith-based guidance tips, if that's what you're looking for. And we're going to have some financial tips. And I see that Hashim is going. That's not quite accurate. Yes. I've read your I have to give the quickest version because actually most people have never had an economics class, Hashim. And so for the world, I'm going to read what he says. He said, that's not quite accurate. They chose to maintain their margins during the inflationary environment. Y'all know I'm blind too, right? Prices tend to not deflate unless there's a deflationary environment. That is true. Absent of a deflationary environment, we aren't likely to see prices drop. That's not really anyone's goal. The goal is to put a cap on the ongoing inflation. That is true. However, I am going to state this, that businesses have choices. They can decide if they want to reduce prices, because guess what? Some of those margins and they can take a little hit on it. But we have shareholders. So we can either choose to be good capitalists, we can choose to be bad capitalists. And there are a few good capitalists out here in this world that aren't trying to make so much money for the stockholders that they forget who's actually spending the money. So I just want to say that thank you for your knowledge and wisdom. I need to drink some tea so we can go to break at any time. And on the other side of the break, we are going to have some awesome guests. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. So I'm going to drink tea. Y'all can watch me sip tea. And hum just a little bit until we go to break. So we'll get.
Welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada Asmara.
Hey y'all, good morning. I am back. Okay, I am seeing all the lovely. Y'all don't know how to smile this morning? Show some teeth. Okay, show some teeth this morning. So, hello everyone. My name is Kiddada Asmara Grey, your conflict coach with Life Coaching Today Presents. Thank you. Welcome back. This is the first show of the new year 2025. And y'all, sometimes every once in a while in my head, my brain goes back to I was in 7th grade and my math teacher, I cannot remember his name now. I don't know why we're doing this in math class, but he said, think about something that it was like, write down what's going to happen in the year 2000. And back then, that was an amazing feat to think that we would get to the year 2000. And then now here we are in year 2025. So not only does that mean I'm getting older, but we have had so many different innovations with technology and lifestyle and social issues that we are it's amazing that we are here. So good morning to my guests, you all. I am so excited that you all joined me this morning. New friends, old friends. Like I said, if you weren't with me prior to going to break, this is the non-resolutions show. We're not doing resolutions. What we're doing is giving you some skills and tips that aren't overwhelming, that aren't cumbersome, that can help you actually do better this year. I'm not saying don't have goals, because I think goals and resolutions are two different things. And so this show is for you if you want something different. We're always told that we're supposed to do all of the resolutions every year, but we're tired of it. Guess why? Because it doesn't last 2 weeks, a month. We're over it. And so I'm gonna tell y'all, save y'all gym membership right now. Don't give the gym your money. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because y'all know y'all ain't going, especially if you're here in Atlanta. This Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come on, John. It's about to snow. The world is about to go. We're going to hell in a handbasket quick in Atlanta, all because of some water is going to drop. So, and don't laugh, Taisha. You know how it goes, girl. You know how it goes. So, good morning. So, welcome. I want to say welcome to Miss Taisha Bryant. How are you, the parenting coach? How are you, sister?
Yes. Hey, y'all. Hey, I am good. How are you?
I am good. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Don't let the pastor fool y'all, even though he is muted. Because how are you, Pastor? How are you, my favorite pastor?
Good morning. How you doing? I'm absolutely wonderful. I don't know what you mean by don't let me fool them. I'm just a fun guy, but I will tell you this. 2025 has came in with a bang.
Yes, it did.
Keeping me busy with the police department and everything else. And school started back and it's already going crazy there. So, hey, prayers are up. I'm praying for families. I'm praying for the community because honestly, God told us, God warned us, and we need to pay attention.
Okay, and then Miss Sharice, how are you this morning, sister? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you. So even though it's a non-resolution show, we're going to throw away resolutions. I have to ask, as Zora is over here trying to get some attention, who made a resolution? Did you guys make resolutions this morning or this year? Sharice is saying no.
We we did. We kind of did some change.
Okay, you have to share one, Pastor.
I'm actually going to share that when I speak in what is my turn.
Did he just not answer my question? See, you
He
see
did.
how we already
He
started?
did.
We're already starting this.
I'm trying to conserve time for you. That's all.
Listen, get the wife.
Big mouth.
Pull up. Get the wife. Get the
No, I'm
wife.
sure she's watching. She
Get
told
her.
me. She told me to conserve time. So that's what I'm doing.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a throwback
that's
from 2024. I ain't mad at her. Miss Taisha, have you done any resolutions for this year?
I won't necessarily say resolutions, but I did have this big goal thing that I did do. And that was basically to heal so I'm able to reach the other side, which is the whole goal part, right? So finishing my healing journey and giving myself grace while doing it so I can literally accomplish all of my goals without the hindrance of not forgiving others, including myself. So that's what I did. That's what I'm on right now.
I like that. I'm going to put Sharice on the spot because we are, 9 days into the new year. Some of us, not me though, because I was good this year, not I, spent a lot of money at Christmas time. And so they're in recovery mode. First of all, before you answer my question, which is, can you provide some kind of recovery tips from a financial perspective? But I need you to introduce yourself to the audience and the family. So tell us what you do, tell us where you're from, all that stuff.
So my name is Sharice Band. I am a certified financial fiduciary. I am originally from New York. I currently reside in North Carolina. So I'm not getting all that snow and freezing cold that they have going on up there. And I help people navigate through life's financial scenarios, whatever that may be. So if they're planning for retirement, if they are transitioning into and or out of a relationship, if they have some type of, let's say, emotional trauma that they need to work through with money, I help them develop their relationships with money and or overcome those barriers. So I have a lot tied up in that little title, but it's well worth it and it's well needed.
I like that. We're gonna. I like what you do. I like that you're a Black woman doing it more so. And I did see that you won the Small Business of the Year award. Congratulations to you, sister. Yes, I was all in your business. And so congratulations to you. So I do really like the relationship to money. And I think that is important to note because I think every year people want to do all these big financial resolutions. Oh, I'm going to save $30,000. And then they're like, okay, into week one, they're like, okay, I was good. And then everything else kind of falls apart after that. What is a tip around the emotional kind of perspective around having money or spending money that you can provide to us into 2025?
An emotional tip?
Yeah, how do we navigate the emotions around that?
Okay. So what happens is when we go through different types of traumas and or we weren't taught certain principles, our habits are not there. And when you go through a trauma, a lot of times you'll see someone will shop a lot or they'll eat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Things are done in excess. So when I sit down with someone and, you ask me if I made resolutions, there's strategies and steps and goals that the benchmarks of goals that we want to meet throughout the year. That's more like it to me because it's a lifestyle. It's not something that I'm just going to wait till January 1st and like, okay, that's it. I'm doing this for the rest of the year. I want to make sure that it's intentional and it becomes an integral part of the person.
So what is like the first tip that you think that people need to do?
I always ask them to pull out their bank statements and analyze. She said, ooh, and analyze where that money is going, because I can talk about saving an emergency fund, saving for retirement. And a lot of times it's like, well, where's that money going to come from? I don't have. Pull out your bank statement. I need to see where you're swiping. And they're like, oh, so they pull the bank statements out and it's like, okay, driving through here, dinner out there, went out to this for entertainment. And I'm not saying that you can't have fun, but everything needs to be in moderation. And $50 here, $50 there, a few times a week adds up very, very quickly.
Yes.
So I want it to hit them in the face, but I want them to see that the money is there. We just need to redirect it.
Okay, now that I got my feelings hurt about my Uber Eats habits, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm taking notes. Even though that is on my list for 20, just overall, like, even though I only eat healthy stuff. So it's really interesting, all the stuff that I do order to eat. I'm a big, can I order a salad person. So thank you for that. I like that, everything in moderation. But the point is that we definitely need to know where our money is going. And it is so easy to swipe, y'all. It really is. It is so easy to swipe. And it's so different. I always like to tell people, get cash. Cash. It hurts to break $100 bill, y'all. It hurts. They're so pretty, and you're like, wait, I gotta break it into something smaller. Yes. So get your $100 bills, get your $50 bills out here. So I like that. And then you kind of said something, Sharice, about parents you may not have been taught financial principles. You may not have had really good guidance. And that made me think about our parents and our parenting coach. Ma'am, sister, do you know any parents that actually have like parenting goals for the year with their children, or there's different, or trying to create a different type of parenting style?
I do. And a lot of them come and say, I'm spending a lot, right? Because they might have children who are transitioning into being teenagers or a little bit older, and the kid is going here, right? So I'm giving them $40, and then they're going shopping, and I'm giving them this. And one discussion I had was, if you're going to put yourself on a lifestyle spending plan, also known as a budget, that has to translate down to your children. Set up an account for them, set up a card for them, give them an allotment or an allowance. And once that's gone, it's gone. It's not like you're the ATM for them to be able to let them spend any way that they want. They need to learn these skills now so that they can be responsible later. Our generation, we grew up a little bit differently. I mean, I can speak for myself. My dad gave us money, but I didn't get an allowance every single week. It was just kind of like, ooh, I got money, let me go and spend it, but they did the best with what they had. And now my generation, with the knowledge and the information, I'm doing the best with what I had. And with my daughter now, my granddaughter, instilling that into them, like, okay, I didn't have this, but this is what you need to do. It's empowering to see the shifts through the generations with the education to be able to make responsible choices.
I like that. Thank you. I even like the fact that parents actually go, okay, wait a minute. I have budget part 1 and I've got budget part 2, which is the children. Taisha, as a parenting coach, what do you suggest this year that parents do differently, that they can actually start thinking about doing differently? Because I've never made a goal to be a better parent, right? Like I've
Mm,
just really made a decision a long time ago what type of parent I was going to be. But what
right.
tip can you give to us that can help parents out this year?
Absolutely. So one of the first tips, and I'm really big on it, is putting the mirror to yourself, right? So even though we are parents, we are still individuals. We are our own person, just like your kids are their own individual person. So let's deal with the person in the mirror, because the reflection that's seen, that's what your child sees. So once we tackle that, look in the mirror and be like, you know what? I don't like what I see. I don't like the fact that I'm always angry. I don't like the fact that I'm always sad,
Mm,
because when we are not our best selves, it is almost impossible to be the best version for our kids. So it's like our kids didn't ask to be here, right? So why give them half? You know what I'm saying? Like, why, for lack of better words, why half ass what they need because of our own stuff.
mm,
It can be seen as selfish from the child's point of view, like, well, I didn't ask to be here, so you don't have to treat me X, Y, and Z. And it's not necessarily intentional from the parent. It's just the fact that they have not dealt with their own things. So I would definitely say that that is primary, that is key in order to move forward within that parenting relationship. Because once you do that, then you're able to sit down and make those family goals, because now we can actually communicate. So let's make goals as a family. Do we want to spend more time watching a movie maybe once a week? We want to learn a new hobby together, save money, go on a big family vacation. What does that look like? And even though we are the parents, the children has a voice and it matters too. So getting them in on that conversation, allowing healthy communication, and then, getting that support. And support looks like, if it's a single parent household, get that other parent involved. And the only way a lot of us can do that, if we go back to that very first step, which is putting the mirror up to ourselves and healing. Because a lot of times we
mm.
don't allow that other parent or that family to be supportive, because we in our own feelings. And because we're in our feelings, that child is being affected. So I must say, like, those are like three main ones, is to go ahead and heal, go ahead and put that mirror up to yourself, heal, get the therapy, get the coaching, whatever whatever works best for you. And we know God can fix it. Yes, he can.
Yes, he
but
can.
God put therapists and counselors and different people here the same way he put somebody here to check on your heart when you're getting ready to have a heart attack. So go get the help that you need, so your children can get the best of you, and you can get the best of yourself. I'm gonna say, let's work on saving money when I'm barely trying to feed us, because I'm not
Oh,
in the mental state
ooh,
to actually want better for myself or go out and get it. Like, so yeah, let's heal, baby. This is the year of healing. Let's go ahead and start it off right. Because once we heal this, everything else will start healing. Our money trauma will heal,
Yeah.
our relationships will heal. Um, and that's relationships with everyone, everything. It starts with us first. So what we waiting on?
oh, well, there you have it. I mean, listen, if you are not, okay, one of my big takeaways is utilizing a parenting meeting, right? Like bring everybody together. Let's look at what the goals
Yes.
are. And listen, let's be clear. There is great conflicts if you are listen, whether you are a single parent, whether you're married and you're unmarried but living together and you're raising children, there are conflicts there. So I
Yes.
respect the conflicts. You need to know how to handle conflict. So you need to call somebody
Absolutely.
like me to mediate. However,
Mm-hmm.
I also want to say, though, that the ability to listen to children is an amazing skill and gift. We have
Yes.
been taught that little people, I want to say that I use the word people because they are actually individuals with their own autonomy. So, parents, can
Yes.
you please stop thinking that this is your version 2.0. They're not.
No,
They're
absolutely.
not. So
They have a voice.
they have a voice, they have their own autonomy, and we have to give them as much respect as
Yes.
needed to utilize their voice. So I like that idea of having the parenting meeting. What do we want to do as a family? Like after this
Right.
Christmas, after these children of mine, young adult children, took me, we went shopping. Let me tell y'all, for the first time, I was living like riding Miss Daisy because the 19-year-old drove me. I didn't know what this was like. I was like sitting in the back seat, like, oh, okay, this is fantastic. But they wore me out at the shopping mall, okay, and the outlet mall. And I said, you know what we're doing next year for the holidays between November to Christmas, whatever. We are going to be on some vacation, some island, because now we need experiences.
Yes.
We're going to be with the pastor. We're going to be with the, because I saw the photos. Y'all snuck out. I'm telling DeKalb County School District that y'all snuck out.
Yes.
That's what we decided.
Baby.
Yeah.
Why is he trying to flex? So I love that. And let me just say too, even if you are a parent of adult children, adult children still have a voice. They need to have a voice. Put a respect on the fact that they're an adult, and you are supposed to be a friend to them, someone that allows them guidance. And you can still sit down, get on that Zoom meeting, check in on your child, see what they want to do this year. So Pastor Dr. John Ward, one of my favorites, Miss Taisha Bryant discussed saying that healing is what we need in 2025. And I think that you are one of the best as you counsel people, as you are a speaker on behalf of the Lord. The Lord uses you. And so I just want to say for the world, if your ears are closing right now because you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear about spirituality. I want to hear faith-based stuff. Let me just tell you something. In your absence of spiritual guidance, you actually believe in something, whether it's a dog or people. There's still strategies that you can use to get yourself to a healing place. So Pastor Jean Ward, the floor is yours. And I'm gonna see how you're gonna utilize time today. And hello, is that a doggy?
Yes, this is Prince. So, hello, this is my new fur baby. For those that don't know, I suffer with PTSD. I'm a vet, so this is actually an ASA and actually going through training for that. And I'm open by it because unless you're open about the things that you deal with, you cannot be healed from it.
That's
and
right.
so often, even pastors and leaders, we try to act like we have it all together, and we don't. None of us do. If you're sitting with someone that acts like they got it together, I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just telling you to pray about it if that's where you want to be. Okay, because you want people that are real and that are transparent. And I'm not saying where they expose all their business, but to the point where you can see that they're human and they're not God. So that being said, thank you, Kiddada. I enjoyed Miss Taisha. Is it Sharice? Is it Miss
Sharice?
Yes. Okay. I definitely enjoyed what you said. Amazing. So I had a message that I did coming into 2025, and it was talking about the economic, corporate economics. And I believe we've gotten to a situation that the church has fallen apart and missed what corporate economics means. And I put a post out and I was saying, it's time for us to start not bringing it into the church, but taking it out of the church. Okay. And I said, oh, let's see, you got your fur baby. Hey,
okay, so we just bringing all the babies. Okay. Doggies. Dora's getting jealous, y'all, because
she got jealous.
She got jealous and took off and ran into the other room. Oh, she's
So with the thing spiritually, a lot of people don't understand money in the Bible, or finance is mentioned over 2,300 times in the Bible. Okay, money is real. And this is not me speaking about prosperity message or anything like that. But I'm going to tell you this. Christ understood before he could heal anybody or meet anyone's need, before he could preach anything to them, he had to heal and meet their needs. Do you want to be made whole? Do you want to be healed? Do you want to walk? They're hungry. Feed them. We have to meet the needs of the people. Now, Kiddada asked the question, what was our New Year's resolution? And I was like, yeah, we do have one, but it is corporate economics. We are practicing with our family, getting our kids to do a family susu. For those that don't understand what it is, some people frown up on them, but the thing is, we're doing a family one, and the reason we're doing it is to teach them how to pool money together, okay, how to work together. Now, the difference with it, no, you not gain interest. There's no interest on it. But here's the dynamics of it. And it's the fact that if you understand how to put aside $100 every month and you become disciplined, because one of the things that we have to understand for us to achieve any goal is that, it's not about the motivation factor. It's about the discipline factor. If you're disciplined to give $100 every month, and then when it's your turn, you're going to receive what from what everybody that's put in, and you discipline on it, it works, and then you can do that the next year and understand how to invest that money. And we can begin to put that money aside and save that money to see that, listen, we don't need to go out. We don't need to go out as much. We don't need to eat out as much. We don't need to shop as much. Those things that we're doing, we can cut back on. Another thing that my wife, we were after service, she was like, listen, we want to go get something to eat, do a cheap lunch. And this is going into the end of 2024. And I said, okay, define me what a cheap lunch is. And so I'll know what our budget is since we're doing a cheap lunch. She says about $140. So, I said, well, I realized that we play in two different ballparks.
Wait. Before you throw my sister under the bus, I need to ask some clarifying questions.
Okay.
To put this out into the world. So
okay.
My first one is, were you taking the entire family?
No, just her and I.
Just you two. Okay,
just
that's
us.
good. All right. Were you coming into the city of Atlanta?
We didn't. We just said wherever. We weren't talking about where we're going. We just talking about how I'm talking about finances.
Okay, because the reason I asked y'all into these interwebs about if you're coming into the city of Atlanta is expensive for food. If to eat out in Atlanta is expensive, and you have to include parking. There is nothing. You have to put the parking in there.
I don't include parking when it comes to that. I don't include parking because I don't know what it is.
She said $140. My girl. Okay, go ahead.
Now, see, and I told her, I said, see, you playing in a stadium. I'm playing at the local park. So my budget was $40.
40.
Hey, we can do a cheap lunch. Cheap. $40.
What is that, like McDonald's?
You can do lunch for two people for $40. You can do it for $40. But the whole thing of it, what I was saying is, and I'm not knocking her for what she said, but those things need to be discussed to understand the dynamics of where you are and the level of expectancy. My wife's thought process is she works, she makes excellent money, and her one enjoyment is eating. Okay. Mine, I like to look at my bank account every morning and be happy. I like to see the interest in things I made. I check my investments. I like that. That we're different, but it's okay. But I say that when you come to corporate economics and scripturally, the Bible dealt with that. The first thing when we look at Mark 24 and you talk about the parable of the talents, and the only time you really find Christ call somebody wicked was when there was an individual literally did not do anything with the money that the ruler gave to him. He gave back what he gave him. And the other ones had gained money off of it. But he said you could have at least put it in a bank to gain interest. And because you did nothing with that, he called him wicked. I never want to be considered wicked. I want to do the best with what God has given me. And I want us all to do the best with what God has given us. So there's some points I want to say. One is corporate economics reflects God's design for community. What we have to begin to do is pull our money together, work together, spend money with each other. And what I mean by that, I'm not going into a racial thing. I'm not going into a social class thing. What I'm saying is where you live is where you need to spend your money. Okay, right. Now, if you choose to live in Buckhead, don't sit back and say, well, I'm going to spend my money on black people, and it's not that many black businesses in Buckhead and they complain. Where you live is where you spend your money. You choose to live there, so therefore live, work, play, and it's okay. Now, I live in Stonecrest. I chose to live in Stonecrest because I want to be with my people and people like me. So I intentionally do things to help build a community. I work with the new Black Wall Street over there. I try to shop my best at Stonecrest Mall. You know, I do what I can do. But the thing is, you have to be intentional. The next thing is corporate economics requires a kingdom mindset. And that means that you can't be selfish. You have to look out for you have to look out for each other. That means not just you and yours, but also your neighbors, also your family. That means also that your extended family, your coworkers. I'm not saying be in their business, but what I am saying is one thing I've realized: if no one's hungry, no one's stealing. Okay, if we feed, there's enough for us to eat. Why do I need to be the richest one on the block? And my neighbors can't pay their rent, or my neighbors are hungry. I mean, we spend so much time trying to outdo each other that we're not trying to uplift each other and build each other. So let's have a kingdom mindset of working together to build this kingdom. Now, I know some people are going to say, hey, that's socialism, that's communism. You're talking about no, what I'm saying is you can still excel. You can, if you want to wear your Gucci, wear your Gucci. You want to travel the seas, travel the seas. You want to buy a Bentley, buy a Bentley. But I'm saying, before you do that, make sure that the people that you know have the same access to economics and understanding the economics, and you supply to pour into them those that want to receive to do those great things also. The next thing is we have to overcome the challenges. I understand in those challenges, what we have is I don't have enough. Where do I start? It starts with $1. Okay, it starts with the old proverb: how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. We have to begin to take one step at a time with what we do and what we're looking to do, whether it's working on your marriage, working on your family, working on your finances. But I say this year's a year of corporate economics because when you are financially stable and you are spiritually stable, whatever your faith is, you operate better, you move better, you're nicer, your endorphins are increased, you have better health, you have better wealth, you have better communication, you have better community, and your children, then you can focus more. But when you're working for 80-hour weeks and you're not at home and your kids are being raised by the neighborhood and by the school and by everyone else, and you're just trying to make ends meet, then you run into those problems. But when you're financially stable, and financially stable is not a dollar amount, it means being able to work with what you have. Sometimes within this corporate economics, we have to realize that we're out of our league. We're, like I said earlier, I made that joke intentionally. My wife makes more money than I do, okay? And I'm not embarrassed by it. I joke about it because I say she's playing in a professional league stadium. I'm playing at the park. So people have to realize this. If we were two separate individuals in two separate households and just friends, I may not be able to do some of the things that she can do. But at the same time, where some people may have children still in the household, I don't. They may not be able to do the things that I can do. And what we have to realize is respect that and look at where we are, where God has us at that time, and begin to build from there instead of living off of someone else's supposedly vision or dream, but work on what God has designed for us. And the next thing is, don't be afraid at all to share your testimony with the world of what you've gone through and how you've accomplished it. Each one of these professors that are here on your show, Kiddada, including yourself, you are unapologetically unashamed to say how you've overcome, how you've excelled, and how you benefited. And nothing's wrong with that. People want to say it's flexing, it's showing off. No, it's saying, listen, why would you listen to someone who hasn't accomplished what they're teaching you? You understand? Why would you listen to someone who hasn't said, listen, I've been there, I've been broke, I've made it, I've been married, I've been divorced, and I made it through. I've had kids, some that excelled, some that didn't, and now I'm looking at how I've helped them grow past that. Until we can begin to show the fruit, and the Bible says you judge people by the fruit, not by the seed, but by the fruit, by the harvest. If their harvest is not indicative of what they're saying they're sowing, I'm sorry. When your harvest get back, come talk to me then. Until then, I have nothing to say. So these are the things, when we begin to put these things together and we begin to put ourselves as people that have true economic growth, that have true family growth, true spiritual growth, true relationship growth, and you see it in them, it exudes in their life, and it's a part of them. Not that they're doing it for the show, not that they're doing it for you to see, but they're doing it, it just comes out naturally, pressed down, shaken, and when it's over, that is what God does. That is the overflow. You can't help but to do it. You can't. I told you, listen, when you're with God, God has his own drip. He has his own sauce. And people will see it on you without you trying to flex it and show it off.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Talk
Hold
about
on a
it.
second.
Talk
Did
about it.
Did the pastor say Jesus has his own sauce? Is that what you said this morning?
He said he got his own drip now. He
Is
said
it
he got
drip?
his own drip.
That's what I heard.
It's real, baby.
I love it. Okay, I have a question because I know I'm nosy. And I know some of us, I'm not going to call any names. I know they also nosy. So I'm going to lead in because I need to hear this. So where did y'all go eat? What did y'all spend? We want to know what the spend was. You went from 100, you went from 40 to 140. So what?
$130.
So it was $138. I want the listening audience to know.
$138.
$138. Sound like a compromise to me.
I believe we went to the Italian place over at Lennox. I think that's where we went.
Okay.
We went right outside Lennox. We went over there. My wife has a low key way of pouting. Oh no, we didn't. I'm sorry. No, that's not where we went that time. My wife has a low key way of pouting, and I was like, okay, we could go eat here because out by Cumberland area, and she kept saying, yeah, I don't know when we're gonna be out of this area again because K-Pot is over there, and she said K-Pot 4 times, so that means I'm not telling. I'm just saying I want to go to K-Pot. So we went to K-Pot over at Cumberland. So we spent like $138, and that was with the tip and tip good, mind you. I believe I believe in tipping. I start at 20%, and we can go better. And unless service is very, very bad, I'll probably drop down to about 15. And then outside of that, I'm still going to tip, but then I'm going to talk to the manager about service. Because I believe one thing that everybody can have an off day. You understand? And I'm not going to punish you financially because you probably had an off moment and an off day, but I am going to make sure it's acknowledged so therefore they can deal with that on the back end. And, because I want people to be better. I want us to support one another. And I told our son, we went out this weekend and we was at Benihana's and he was saying, oh, wow, the bill came up to such and such. I'm like, how much? I thought it was going to only be this. And the waitress says, no, this is dinner prices. You're paying the full price. And I said, but that's still not including the tip. And he says, well, what if you don't tip? I said, if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to eat. You stay home. So, and this was, I say this not to be a flex. I say this because when we begin to know what we are, we begin to operate that. Now, within the places you've all heard, we also had a thing of we only eat out 4 times a month now. So our whole thing is we're only eating out 4 times a month. I know it's yes, I know. Pray for Latasha. She's probably hearing this right now.
We're gonna have a sister circle. Girl, call me. We're gonna pray together. I need an accountability partner on that one because that is wild work.
So please help them. You can't keep eating out. Even if we got it, we can't keep eating out. Do you know how much wings is for 4 people? That's $80 just for wings. And you want the lemon pepper saucy. So we got to cut back. We got to cut back. So that's one of our things. So we're only eating out 4 times. So I did give her a cheat code. I said we can order the delivery meal preps that we throw into the air fryer or whatever, the healthy ones. I said that's a cheat code. We're able to do that. So I am compromising. We're compromising, but just not spending $80 a day anymore. That has to stop.
Okay. I hear you on that. Taisha, I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to ask you, how do parents, if they're having a communication challenge with their child, what is one of your parenting tips to say, how do you break that barrier? How do you do that?
First off, basically listen and take the fact that I'm the parent off the table, and just, we're two people having a conversation, and I need to respect the person that's I'm talking to and the person that's talking to me. So that's how that barrier is broken. And admit that you are wrong. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Or I'm sorry, I should have not said that. So speaking to them the way that you want to be spoken to. It's not about age, it's not about title, it's about merely respecting the individual. And of course, that comes with, learning boundaries and communicating and things of that nature, because once we get that title parent, we go straight crazy. Oh, you're going to do what I say, and what I say goes. And it's just like, well, mama, you were wrong, right? Like, I was right. And it takes everything for people, adults, parents, to admit that they're wrong to their kids. But we want them to admit when they're wrong. How does that work?
Amen.
Amen on that one. I like that.
Definitely respect. Like, all right. And it's something that, it's an everyday thing. Ask questions that they're interested in. How was your day? Open-ended questions.
Yes.
Not just, you had a good day today? Yes. No, I knew all the tea at my baby school, baby, because we sat down like two little old people and we talked this thing out. And it was because I wanted her to feel comfortable talking to me about anything, because it starts on that small level, and then it just grows, because like, okay, it's somebody I can trust and somebody who's not judging me. What that challenge that's going on, we listen and we don't judge. That is a real thing. But
Yes.
I can't play that game.
Listen, I have not played it either, Pastor. I just don't.
Look, let me tell you something. They tried some kids that was with us was on the cruise, and they tried to play that game. I said I wouldn't play that game. That game lasted 2 rounds before someone threw water on their brother, and it was ugly.
Oh, wow.
I'm not mature enough, because I say this. I'm not mature enough to listen and not judge, because you might tell me something and I'm judging and I'm reacting. So you got to know your level. I can't play that game.
That even go back to parents. That's it right there. No,
Pastor, you and I need to have a conversation. We need a coaching moment. We need a coaching
conflict.
Moment. We need a coaching moment on how to not judge. So I'm gonna tell y'all, so here's an opportunity, right? So I also am a restorative justice practitioner, and I want to say to you all that it is a different kind of world to walk in. When you are restorative, meaning you are really focused more on the person, not the issues, the person itself. And so you need to learn how to listen to your heart solely with your heart. Dump everything out of your brain, which is a skill, to take all of the biases, all the judgments out, and then, listen solely with your heart, because it's in our heart when we meet other humans where they're at. Okay, so it is really a practice to do that. Pastor, we're gonna work on this. We're gonna work on that's your task for today. But it is really.
Let me ask this one question. Mm-hmm. So, if I played this game, right, and let's just say someone said, every time you leave me alone, I go and I steal something from you, and you don't know it. Or every time I'm in the kitchen, I actually spit in your food. Okay.
That's how the game played.
What game are you playing?
Some of everything. And I'm not going, because literally what happened with this brother and sister, the brother said, you kept drinking my water when I was asleep. That's why one night I put pee in the cup and put ice in it. So when you drank it, you drank my pee. Now, understand something. Consistent behavior shows lack of respect. So I cannot say I'm not going to judge you, because I realize there's certain things, if you respected me, you wouldn't do. So if you're consistently stealing from me, if you're consistently doing things to hurt me, that means that you have a lack of respect for me. And that is my judgment of, I realize now where I thought you respected me and I thought we were on the same playing field, we're not. Now I have to govern myself accordingly and change how I handle things. That's what I mean by look, I still judge. Because judgment to me is there's no change in behavior. I'm changing my behavior after what you just said. I'm not immune to this.
So I respect your example. However, I'm going to say that what in those examples, that is not necessarily, you can use a restorative justice kind of practice in that. And first and foremost is to hear what their behaviors are and what's going on. And what I don't consider your use of the word judgment in the space is not my use of the word judgment. What you are reacting to is with your emotional reactment, which is valid, right? However, it is now you have to address the why they're reacting to you the way that they have. Understood, you may not like it, but understand what's going on and understanding not only their behavior, but your behavior as well. And so how it is that they're reacting to you in what it is, because now they're being vengeful, but there's obviously a disconnect in communication. And yes, it is a respect issue, but that's not what I deem to be judgment. So I just want to clarify. So
Okay,
that's
so we have understood of words. Okay,
yeah.
I'm with you then.
So you're reacting out of the emotions, and so that does not mean that you cannot have emotions, which is pertinent to do. So yeah, that is one thing to be clear. And so thank you for that example, though. So we got to clarify that. So that is so important. When you are sitting down with your children, it is imperative. Children, anybody, because we all have to sit in spaces with other people as we coach, right? And the first foundation of the work that we do, if you're going to interact with other people, is really having a baseline to be open enough to hear and listen without your emotions and your judgment. It is a skill, people. It is a skill to be just living the facts in the logical kind of world, to say, okay, I'm open to hear what it is that you're saying, so that way I can respond not only in the space of understanding what you've said, but also trying to find a solution to the challenge. So I know that Miss Taisha has to jump and we need to wrap. So Taisha, I'm going to allow you to have some parting words before you leave for parents in 2025.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, this has been a really great show. Pastor, when you were talking to Pastor, he was looking like, now listen, y'all ain't finna jump on me.
Listen, the pastor knows you come over this way. Him and I, we're going to have some conversation. We're going to conversate over here, okay?
Yes. I absolutely love it. The nuggets that was dropped financially, I greatly appreciate it. I definitely took it in because that is something I'm also working on. So thank you both for that. Kiddada, thank you again, sis, for just having me on. It's always a pleasure to be a part of such, great vibes. But for my parents, this is what I would like for you to take away. If you didn't take anything else the way I said, I want you to know that you are imperfectly perfect. Regardless of your circumstances, regardless of what it looks like today, regardless of what it feels like, know that you are imperfectly perfect. And in the word imperfect, it says, I'm perfect. Okay.
That's right.
So you are perfect for you. You are perfect for your kids. Give yourself grace in this space of growing. Give yourself grace in healing. Give yourself grace in being the parent that you choose to be, whether that's the things that you learned growing up, whether it's something you learned during a seminar you sat in, or just a revelation that you've gathered. Give yourself grace and apply it. This is your first time doing this thing called parenting, and this is your child's first time being a child. So be graceful to the both of you, and do everything in love, with a solid foundation, being love. Then you're able to heal, forgive, let go and show up for you and yours. And yeah, I love y'all because I can. There's nothing you can do about it. And I'm Taisha M. Bryant, the parent healer, on all social media platforms. If you need just a little help in that healing space, regardless of what it looks like, I am definitely readily and available to assist you on that journey.
Thank you, sister. I love having you here, and I can't wait to see you soon. So we're gonna have to figure out how we gonna break bread and not on.
I'm gonna see you tonight.
Oh, are you okay? I didn't know. Okay. I need you to sign up, ma'am.
I'm doing it today.
People, wait till the last minute for stuff. All the time. All the time.
I had to make sure my schedule was good.
Okay.
I'm gonna be there.
All right. So, Miss Sharice, please. First of all, thank you for being here. I know it's early in the morning. I'm jealous that you don't have snow. I hope you have at least cold weather, because we all need to suffer together on that, Chica. And so hopefully see you soon. I owe you a call about not taking a cheap trip, but we gonna
that works for me.
We're gonna parlay somewhere and get out the cold weather. So what is your parting words for the audience on some financial goals, tips for 2025?
The number one thing is don't beat yourself up. Take an assessment as to where you are and what changes need to be made. Create a budget. I call it a lifestyle spending plan, and stick to that. Make sure you insure yourself, because you are your greatest asset, whether we believe that or not, but we are. Because if we're not functional and able to bring in the income and the money that we create, then we're no good to anyone. And the final goal is to work towards raising your net worth. So when I come back with you, I can talk about net worth and what that means and what that looks like. And finally, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep.
I love it. I love it. It's not about how much you make. Woo! That's a whole other conversation right now. Y'all, you all will get to see Miss Sharice February 27th on this podcast, talking about finances, our financial assets, all the things on February 27th. During Black History Month, it is intentionally set that way. So y'all better show up for Black History Month too. Whole other conversation. But thank you so very much for imparting your wisdom and giving us the gift of you this morning. And your doggy, what is the doggy's name?
I think she froze.
Okay, I think she froze.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have two. Yeah, I have one, Cali Chardonnay. We call her Hollywood. And then I have another one, Chai Latte. I got bougie dogs.
The dog called Hollywood. I am so done today. I love it. I love it. I love it.
She's an actress.
So, thank you. Oh, she's an actress. She's got 2 doggies. I'm looking at getting another dog. I'm gonna have to think about it. Because 2 seems to be a lot to be running through the house. I don't know. We're gonna have to see about that. And then my favorite pastor. I have a task for you. So one, I need you to do a quick video for me, because I think it would be really interesting to see people's concept about a family susu. I like that, because I don't think we think about that. And if you're not familiar with the susu, I'm going to have the pastor actually define that. But I want to say, Black and brown people, it is indigenously a part of who we are.
Yes, it is.
To be cooperative and community oriented around our finances. We have just lost that. We have other races and ethnicities that actually do it. They call it something else. And so I want you to do that for me. is my ask for 2025. But then also, you get the last word, Pastor, with that little handsome doggy of yours, who's wearing awesome jewelry, by the way, because I think that doggies all need jewelry and necklaces and all that type of stuff.
Thank you. He's definitely spoiled, and I am a dog person. I always have been. It took me a while before I got another one after mine had a heart attack. But what I want to leave you all with is two things. One, what I spoke of, I put in the comment section for people to go back to have the notes and scriptures to follow through. The main thing, so it's a little bit lengthy, but just cut it, copy it, paste it to help you remind you of those scriptures. And just even the notes alone to understand that we have to begin to move. I want to increase our spiritual wealth and our monetary economic wealth corporately, and that is working together. Scripture says that it is not good for man to be alone. Now, in that context, he was speaking about when he created Eve, and we look at that. But the bottom line is this: we're not an island. We're all connected. It is not good for you to be isolated, to try to operate and do it by yourself. In this cold time, this scripture even says, he says, when there's more than one, you can keep each other warm. You can watch each other's back. It's getting cold. I'm trying to tell you, you got to have somebody to help you keep warm. And what I mean by that is that can also speak warmth into your spirit and also into your finances and help you be accountable. And we need those accountability partners. So outside of anything else, what I want people to take away going into 2025 is, listen, I don't care how bad it gets on the outside, as long as you're anchored on the inside, as long as you have built your community and you know what you all have and what you can do collectively together, there's no outside force that can destroy what God has done for you internally and can change or alter the promises that he has for you.
Thank you for that. I love that. So I want to clarify for some folks out in the listening world for perpetuity, we are not talking about joining in on cuffing season, okay? That's
No.
When he says about speak warm, you got to be clear for folks, okay?
Yes,
you got to be
straight.
clear.
Me go ahead and get somebody in my bed. I need a bed. No, I did not say that.
But I do love the fact that we are really talking about let me say that we need people. One of my favorite books is called Never Alone. And y'all, it is such a good read. I suggest you go find that book. It is such a good book about people needing people. And as we are, we're also on our social media, it's sometimes it's a false connection, but I'm not going to stay there. We need to talk about that one day. But thank you all for leaving us with your wisdom, taking the time to share with us this good Thursday, January 9th morning when it's cold outside and we could have slept in just a little bit longer. I want to in close say that we're going to do the damn thing in 2025. If you stumble and fall doing it, that's okay. The key is to get back up, y'all. Don't stay down, get back up. It is pertinent that you get back up. This evening at 7 o'clock, because my mind is all over the place now, I am hosting an awesome vision board event. This is not your typical vision board event. We're going to talk about meditation. We're going to talk about self-healing. It is $30. If you go to my Facebook page and find me on my Facebook page, you will see all the information about the vision board. Follow my reel. It's all there. We are starting at 7 o'clock this evening. This is not about just cutting pictures on the board, right? One of the things that we're going to talk about is our integrity and accountability to ourselves. Because that's one reason why, like the pastor said, it's discipline. If your discipline is failing, is that you don't have enough integrity. And I own that for myself in relationship to myself and some of my goals, because it's not important, but integrity is real. Integrity is not only for the world, it's also to ourselves. So I look forward to seeing you all this evening. Thank you for joining, and don't let your job get on your nerves. And and I'm going to talk about whoever it is. I have there's 4 Black folk on here, and we know all the time that one of us, somebody's battery needs to get changed. And so I don't know whose it is, John, is it you? Somebody's battery needs to be changed. In the fire detector thing. I'm calling people out. And so
I'm too old for that. I'm past that stage. I get service. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man right now, you know.
We doing that. That's it. That's my next Facebook post. We doing it in 2025. We are changing the batteries, y'all. We changing the batteries. So you all have a good day. Thank you for joining me on Life Coaching Today Presents with me, Kiddada Asmara Grey. And next week, I believe we're going to have on some other spiritual teachers with the what is it that you wanted to ask your pastor that you're really afraid to. So we'll see about that next week. You guys have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, stay blessed.
Thank you, Robots, my awesome producer, who's just fantastic.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kiddada Grey and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.